Good afternoon. How's everybody doing out there? It's been a few weeks since I've talked with you guys. I've been really busy lately working on a few projects, but I wanted to get back to my fans and touch base on a couple of quick things. It's funny, I would not call myself a Kanye West fan, so to speak. But there's one thing you can count on for Kanye West, and that's to give us some teachable moments. And he had an interview that was brought across my Facebook feed that he did with Sway. And I just really wanted to take a second and talk about that interview because I think it gives some really great teachable moments for those of us aspiring entrepreneurs. And let me just preface this, because I'm sure if this ever gets in front of Kanye West, I'm gonna let you know, no, I'm not nearly as big as Kanye West. I don't have Kanye West struggles. I don't have Kanye West money. I don't have that, okay? So I'm not going to claim like I don't want to say I know what he's going through or I understand where he's coming from. But here's what I do understand. I understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur and to get so bogged down in the no's that you can't see the yeses. And I feel like this video really shows that that's what's happened, and that's the takeaway message that I hope that those of you that are watching this video will get. And I'm going to put a link to the video so that you can see it, because I think it's a great mirror for entrepreneurs to use so that you can see what perhaps you look like when you get told no too many times and you just stop feeling like anybody's listening or can hear you. Kanye West goes on to talk about how he's trying to do this clothing line thing. But before we do that, this guy has 21 Grammys. 21. Okay? They talk about how he's one of the most influential artists of this generation. That in itself is such a huge blessing and one up on anything anybody else would try to do. That opens more doors and gives him more opportunities than most of us entrepreneurs would ever dream of. So I just want to, I hope, my mom used to tell me when I couldn't sleep that you should count your blessings and that'll put you to sleep. And I definitely believe that Kanye West needs to count his blessings a little bit and perhaps he'll realize how many blessings he actually does have and how many things he actually has working towards him. There's another point in the video where he talks about losing money, how much money he's lost. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, losing money is a part of being an entrepreneur. I don't know anybody that's been successful as an entrepreneur and has never lost any money. Granted, he may, every entrepreneur has to say how much money they're willing to lose, and once you reach that level, be willing to walk away from it. And perhaps he has. Maybe that is the scenario and that's what happened. But then as an entrepreneur, you're forced to then look at, was my level acceptable? Would I have been successful if I had just stuck with it a little bit longer? If I had raised my level? If I could have found more money that wasn't mine to help me get to that next level or to extend the level that I'm currently on? Again, I'm not in his inner circle. I don't know whether or not that was actually done, but I want to encourage you to do that. If you feel like you've reached your level, but you haven't maxed out your dream, well, then see how to extend your level. Another thing that he talks about is this idea, all these other designers and they have factories. Get your own factories. Kanye West has, a large network, not an endless, but a very large pool of resources that he can draw from. His music has affected so many people in so many countries around the world. I can't imagine that he could not open his own factory. He could not source his own resources and do all of the things that are required, or he could pay the people to set it up for him. Or he could develop some kind of a conglomerate of young artists that are trying to do this. Obviously, they talk about Drake and some of the other artists, Sway himself with his clothing lines. Perhaps there's a way to come into it as a group. Again, I'm brainstorming. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to be Kanye West consultant, but I'm just trying to put out a point that sometimes as an entrepreneur we seem limited, and when things don't work out the way we want them to, we tend to say that this won't work. And I tried and I lost money and I did all this stuff, but it won't work. I can't crack into their level. Well, what you have to do is find a different level or create your own, or get off. That's the other option Kanye West has. If he doesn't like the way the game is played, he doesn't have to play the game. He could do something else. I understand it's his part of his passion and part of being an artist, but you know what? I'm passionate about a lot of things that I don't actively pursue to that degree because it just doesn't work for me. So that is also a choice that he can make. This whole idea of I'm going to go on a radio and complain about it, that just doesn't seem very Kanye West-like, and I think he needs to take a little hard look at that. And the thing that he talks about, Nike won't do this and Ralph Lauren won't do that. Well, guess what? They're looking out for their bottom line. They're not looking out for Kanye West's bottom line. And the fact, they're not interested, Nike is not interested in growing its own competitors. Nike's not interested in building brands that will eventually compete with them. They just want to improve their own bottom line. And so that's what they're interested in. And I'm sure the deal that Michael Jordan originally got probably isn't as lucrative as the deal he ended up with. And again, if Kanye West people are telling him this is a bad deal, walk away, then do it. If he's not happy with the deal, then obviously he can walk away from it and not do it. But you have to understand that these large businesses and corporations aren't going to they don't care who you are so much as they care about their bottom line. And if he's able to bring what he has to the table in a way that improves their bottom line and reduces their risk, then of course they're going to love you. But, and the thing about Jordan, he compares himself to him Michael Jordan was predictable. Kanye West is anything but predictable. And that's the thing, he talks about being able to be controlled and all of that. Michael Jordan took to the court a couple of nights a week, several months out of the year. He had very few public, guffaws or whatever you want to call them. Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. You didn't have to worry that he was going to jump up on stage and pull mics out of people's hands. Michael Jordan never got on stage and said highly controversial things about sitting or former presidents. So Nike, to attach their brand to somebody looks for somebody safe. So, Kanye, look, if you want to be Kanye, that's fine. I applaud you, brother. Go ahead and be Kanye West. But if that's what you decide you want to do, don't get mad when the corporate companies don't want to attach to you. That's just the bottom line. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, there's a part where he kind of goes on a little mini rant about having his, I'm going to change the, keep it rated PG on here, but he talks about people questioning his sexuality because he's interested in fashion. Newsflash, you had a baby with Kim Kardashian. I think anybody that would question your sexuality just needs to remember that fact. I can't imagine why, if he had a baby with Kim Kardashian, he's marrying Kim Kardashian, why would anybody question? That's about the most straight thing I could think of. And on top of that, the fact that he is marrying into that family should give him even more resources with which he can build his own level. He can build his own network and build his own clothing line, his own resources, his own factories, his own everything. I mean, for goodness sake, if the Kardashians can't help him in that process, then who on earth can? So I definitely think that while I tend to pick on Kanye, I want people to understand that this is not about Kanye so much as this is about an entrepreneur who's frustrated. And perhaps this was just a day when he had to let off some steam and it came out in a negative way. And I can certainly understand that. I have to vent from time to time too. But I want people to understand that when you're mired in the muck of your frustrations, it makes it very, very difficult for you to see your opportunities. And so I would encourage entrepreneurs that if you find yourself in situations where you are just so frustrated that you want to give up and that you can't see the way out, then that's exactly when you need to call on your network of friends, your network of other entrepreneurs, and get some help and get some perspective on where your situation is and what you need to do. If the dream is to be an entrepreneur, not necessarily to be a fashion owner or a rapper or a whatever. He talks about being marginalized. He's kind of marginalized himself by not seeing the joy and the challenge and the reward of being an entrepreneur, and not necessarily just a rapper or just a designer, or a rapper and a designer but not an entrepreneur. So being able to manage all of those things all at the same time is what makes an entrepreneur. And being able to persevere even after the challenges that he describes is what makes an entrepreneur. So Kanye, I love you. I'm not trying to diss you. I don't want to hear, I don't want all these emails or anything like that, or your people getting on me because I said things about you. This is not about a hit on Kanye. This is just about using him as a teaching opportunity and a teachable moment for other entrepreneurs. I hope you enjoyed this. Got more things coming. I would encourage you to keep watching the panel. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter. Go to our website, www.rojasconsulting.net. Hope you're having a great day. Goodbye.